Good morning. Once again, this is TJ Knight, Assistant Executive Officer for the Board of Public Works. If there are any members of the public who wish to offer commentary on any of our agendized items this morning who are joining us here in person in the board hearing room, please fill out a speaker card located in the back of the room. Indicate which item you'd like to comment on and hand it to me. I'll record your information for the record, and I will call out your name when we reach your item. Good morning as well to our attendees joining us on the virtual platform. I have Amy, Miriam, Mona, Zoom user, Yvonne, and Gigi, who have all indicated that they wish to offer commentary. If there are any additional commenters on Zoom, please raise your hand at this time. Identify yourself for the record. And I don't see any additional hands raised. We should get started with the Board of Public Works meeting momentarily. Thank you. President Corson, we are now in record mode.
Great. Welcome everyone to the Board of Public Works meeting for Monday, January 27th. Mr. Knight, if you'd like to establish quorum and take roll for us, please.
Very well, President Corson. President Corson, Vice President Chavez, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Kang, and Commissioner Mitchell are present. We do have a quorum. We are also joined by City Attorney Representative Thomas Costello Vega. I'm Assistant Executive Officer TJ Knight. President Corson, we have 6 speaker cards under public comment and 2 multiple item agenda commentaries today. We have no neighborhood council comment, and that concludes the list of public commentaries.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. And with that, we'll open up general public comment, which is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items, and will be provided for up to 1 minute per person for a cumulative total of 10 minutes for general public comment. Testimony shall be limited in context to matters which are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board, and the board may not take any action on matters discussed during the public comment period. And we have our city attorney, Mr. Thomas Costello Vega, on hand to ensure you stay within your time and on topic.
Thank you, President Corson. We'll go ahead and get started with Amy. Amy's iPhone.
Hi, as we stand here on Holocaust Remembrance Day, I must remind you, the reason why we all come to you is because we are speaking out for those who cannot speak for themselves. First, they came for the socialist, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one else left to speak for me. So this is why we are speaking. We want the planters removed. We're trying to speak out for the cult victims in Scientology. We want the planters removed because we cannot protest and speak out for them. And if you don't do anything, may your names be etched in history when there is a Scientology Remembrance Day, that you guys did nothing about it and you sat there, because today we commemorate people that rose from the ashes of genocide, and we don't want any more people to rise from the ashes of Scientology. Bye.
And we'll move next to Miriam.
Yeah, hi. I'm just calling about these weird boxes on L. Ron Hubbard Way and Catalina. I'm starting to think that maybe they are not planters, but they are just actually coffins prepared for the bodies of the elderly that is locked up in the blue building on L. Ron Hubbard Way. It's not very nice to look at, so maybe they could just take them in. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. We'll move next to Mona M. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, board. It's me again, Mona. Wow, how do I follow that? Planters, permits, perplexed that that you guys aren't doing a dang thing They are against city, state, and federal violations. They need to be moved. And I 100% agree that we are looking at a point in history where your names are going to be remembered about this, that Scientologists, ex-Scientologists, 22% of them growing up in Scientology commit suicide or attempt to commit suicide. It's not something you need to be involved with. Thank you, and I yield back my time.
Thank you. We'll move next to Zoom user.
Good morning. Again, I'm here about the planners as well. But for me, the curious in my mind is saying, why won't the city do anything? I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? They're federal laws being broken. Is it because Scientology is scary? People are afraid of being fear gamed, or is it deeper than that? They always say follow the money. And so that's what I'm going to look into now is why won't you do anything? Is there people behind the scenes that are kind of saying, hey, like leave them alone because it may mess up other deals or contracts within the city? I don't know. I don't know how webbed Scientology is. They seem to be deeply webbed because it makes zero sense that the public works will not demand that they make it ADA compliant. It makes no sense that Hugo won't get involved. It makes no sense that Mayor won't do it. Makes zero sense. Like, make it make sense. What is really going on? What's the real
Thank you.
reason? The actual reason?
Thank you. That's 1 minute. And we'll move next to Yvonne.
Thank you. Again, I'm going to remind you about your minutes not being, let's say it politely, within the norms of civil affairs by recording who speaks, what the topic is, and how they align on that topic. Not doing that is negligent. The other thing I want to ask each of you to do independently, which will not require any action by the board as a collective, look up Snow White and Scientology on your Google machines. Snow White was a takeover, attempted takeover of the federal government. You do not need to be entrapped in the same kind of scheme, individually or collectively, or as the city as a whole. You are.
And that's 60 seconds. Thank you. And our last public commenter is Gigi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm here today again to request that you guys put this planner situation on the agenda. At least give us a progress report. Without even doing that, it makes you guys look way worse. At least fill us in on what you've done, what you can't do, and if there's absolutely nothing that can be done, lead us to who could take care of this planner situation. Secondly, I'd like to point out that on the agenda, there's going to be items that are talking about water reclamation and Hyperion. If someone decides to talk about that and they mention water reclamation and Hyperion, please do not tell them that they're off topic when they are going to be on topic, because you've done that, when was it, last week? So just stop interrupting and wasting people's time when they're on topic, and give us a progress report. Thank you.
President Corson, I do see an additional hand raised on Zoom. If you would like, I can see if user iPhone would like to offer public comment this morning.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, President Corson. User iPhone, would you like to offer public comment this morning?
Yes, I would.
Go ahead, you have 60 seconds.
I just don't understand why these planters are still an issue. It goes along with the water being an issue. It is insane, absolutely insane, that this has not been rectified. Do you not see and understand that numerous people are seeing this? They might not call in, but they see it. I was just giving you a minute to think. I yield back my time.
And that concludes public comment this morning. President Corsand.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. With that, we'll close general public comment for today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda items public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item for up to a total of 3 minutes. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item.
Thank you, President Corsand. We have 2 multiple item agenda commenters, and we'll start with Zoom user.
Good morning again. I want to talk about the water. I have been asking for months. I've been saying for months. I'm like, why now? Or all of a sudden, this Public Works is like, it seems like you're just like putting so much stuff about the water through. Okay, all these projects, and I'm like, why now? I couldn't figure it out. Like, I'm always very naturally inquisitive. I'm like, why are you guys just putting all this water stuff? And then we had the biggest fire disaster ever in our history. Basically, big chunks of the city burnt down.
Speaker, I'm sorry. Can you please clarify which agenda item you are speaking to?
I am on topic. We're talking about Hyperion, okay? Right? There's 3 items today alone about water, okay? Reclamation. So I am perfectly on topic. Stop gaslighting me, all right? Why now? Why wasn't this done prior to the fires? And now we found out because we don't have the water, right? There's no water. And you guys, I believe you guys knew this. And I believe that you guys, and it's not necessarily this board, you're new, but leading up to this, all of a sudden, what did you guys realize? Oh, shoot, man, there's a problem. We better get this water situation fixed because there's going to be fires and we're not going to have water. And if that's so, and you're trying to fix it, I commend you for that. But there needs to be some answers and truth and some real dialogue with the people, especially with the people that lost everything. Why have you been rushing now? Okay, I've called it out. And there is a cure and correct coming this week because of the gaslighting that the city attorneys likes to do. And I'm going to add today as well, because I'm absolutely on topic talking about water. There's 3 agenda items about water, okay? And then there's also 3 items about increasing the budget. Another thing I've been talking about. Why is always there's an increase in budget? Why is there a lack of management to be able to keep things within budget? It's, we don't have the money, right? We don't even have the money to pay our fire department. Can we think that maybe because we're just throwing money away without an accountability to the money? Because it's like, oh, you need more money? Sure, here. Okay, well, we're going to have to take it somewhere. Well, let's take it from fire department. It's just unbelievable to me. And I hope that this board gets it together. Maybe you really are trying to by putting all this water stuff in. And I hope so. But you guys need to do better with this accounting of the money. We don't have it, okay? I want the fire department fully funded. I don't want them to have to take pay cuts because you guys can't keep other entities in budget. There has to be some kind of accountability. There has to be some kind of thing. Like if they're saying, okay, we need this amount.
Thank you. That's 3 minutes. And we'll move next to Yvonne.
Thank you. I'm going to start with number 1. The bid has a 30% increase. That's obscene. I would like you to fund that by taking a 30% pay cut across the board. I'm also concerned that that project is only halfway funded. The remaining half is yet to be determined by the city. And if it gets started and additional funding or grants are not available, the building, it will be a half-done project. And is that half-done project usable? It's possible to make a half-done project that is still usable and have the bells and whistles whistles and the niceties trimmed down to a respectable budget. That's not clear in the documentation presented. Also not clear is if those grants that are on number 1 expire and you're in a hurry up situation to contract, finalize the contract, get the money out and get the project started before it becomes deemed to be an unuseful expenditure of money by the federal government. The total concept of overruns, the rest of the budget items or items on this agenda, except for number 7, are all related to overruns. And this is disconcerting. Again, take a pay cut. Have your management take a pay cut. If they're responsible for an overrun, at this point, it should be their job. On number 5 specifically, during the close down of Arleta Street and any street in the future, when the inspectors from within the city go out to do their inspecting, I would request that they also inspect the fire hydrants on the sidewalks and the sidewalk conditions to make sure that every fire hydrant, or actually they're called utility hydrants, are in functioning and well-maintained status. This will provide for a site inspection and an evaluation of a need for upgrades or repair. You're going to be there anyway. Get the job done. It's called symmetry. Do the same with the Sepulveda Basin project. Make sure the fire hydrants are all working. The number 7, I don't have enough detail to make a comment. It is a contract that says not to exceed. Let's hope it doesn't exceed. There's no evidence
And that's 3
in
minutes.
past.
President Corson, I do see an additional hand raised during multiple agenda item commentary. If you'd like, I can ask user iPhone if they would like to offer multiple agenda item commentary this morning.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, President Corson. User iPhone, would you like to offer multiple agenda item commentary this morning?
Yes.
Go ahead, you have 3 minutes, and please identify which item you're speaking on for each minute.
The water. How is it these people can continue to be paid by not doing their jobs? How does that work? Regular people in the regular world that do not do their job do not collect a paycheck.
So this is not general public comment, user iPhone. Please identify which item
Well,
you're
as
speaking.
long as you heard what I said. Thanks. Bye.
And that concludes multiple item agenda commentary this morning, President Corson.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the multiple agenda item public comment for today's meeting, and we'll move on to the approval of the minutes for Wednesday, January 15th. If there's a second to my motion. Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of minutes, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kane.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
No, due to my excused absence.
And we have a vote of 4-1, and the approval of minutes is 4-1. It passes 4-1.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Knight. With that, we'll move on to item number 1 from Bureau of Engineering in Council District 3, issuing a change order number 116 to Weissman Construction, and that is not Mr. Steve Fierce.
Good morning, Commissioner and President, Commissioners, Division Heads, Executives. My name is Ohaji Abdullah. I'm the Bureau of Engineering Architectural Division, the Assistant Division Manager. Unfortunately, Mr. Fierce is not going to be able to make it today. He's impacted by the fire. I am also joined by Mr. Spencer Yu, the Project Manager for the Madrid Theater Project and a recent new employee to the Architectural Division. This particular report recommends that the Board of Public Works provide approval for a deduct change order related to the AV and IT infrastructure, which was initially included in the current contract when it was awarded. And it also requests the addition, the the transfer of that additional deduct change order funding to the actual construction contingency. Just a brief background. When the project was awarded, there was an AV and IT infrastructure designed for the theater system itself. At the time it was awarded, we did a reevaluation with our client, Department of Cultural Affairs, and determined that the equipment was no longer state of the art and met the industry standards. So at that time, we negotiated a deduct change order with the contractor, which we are now looking to execute. In addition to that, as part of the city's and architectural division's sustainable design initiatives, the project was identified as a candidate for the decarbonization program, whereas we remove all gas-powered appliances, HVAC equipment from facilities while we're working on them, so that we don't have to come back in an inefficient manner and touch that building again. So phase 2 of this project will include the redesign and installation of that AV equipment infrastructure, a new roof, the replacement of HVAC and plumbing equipment that was previously gas powered, and possibly a PV system if we can afford it at the end of the day. The phase 1 of the project is estimated to be completed in February, March this year, very soon, and we're anticipating a lively grand opening. But we all know that we'll have to launch into phase 2 fairly quickly so that we can realize the true dream of the Department of Cultural Affairs. And are there any questions?
Thank you, commissioners. Actually, first, Mr. Knight, do we have any hands raised on this item?
We do not, President Corson.
Okay. Commissioners, do we have any questions or comments on this item? Or a motion to entertain?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a first from President Pro Tem Grant and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Thank you, President Corson. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 1, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kane.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item 1 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Have a great day.
You too. Moving on to item number 2, also from the Bureau of Engineering and Council District 11, a construction budget increase in construction services contract, otherwise known as Cisco, for the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Digester Gas Mixing System Demonstration, Capital Improvement Project 2493. Not Ethan Wong.
I am not Ethan.
Please go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ibrahim Hafiz. I'm a project manager with the Bureau of Engineering, Environmental Engineering Division. Today, I'll be briefing on the Capital Improvement Project 2493 Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant Digester Gas Mixing Demonstration Project. This is an authorization to increase the project budget for the Cisco contract. We are looking to approve an increased project budget to $3,245,000 for the Landia Gas Mixing Demonstration. A little bit of background. So the digesters at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant are the solids handling process of the wastewater treatment process. They digest solids and they off-gas methane, carbon dioxide, and various other gases that can be used to combust and provide power for the plant. The plant operates 20 of these digesters, and the aging draft tube mixers at these digesters are prone to failure. And when they do fail, they cause the downtime of up to 45 days for repairs and cleaning. So the plant staff and engineering teams at Hyperion wanted to look for a new system that could operationalize and make the digesters a little bit more efficient. So the Landia gas mixing system, which offers a low maintenance alternative with no internal moving parts, and it improves the sludge mixing efficiency and reduces downtime. So the idea was that this project would pilot test the Landia gas mixing system, and then if it did work out and was able to produce the results that the plant team was looking for, we would implement this technology in all the other digesters in a future project. So this project's scope of work was to do exactly that, install the Landia gas mixing system on digester 6D1. But while this project was going on, it faced certain delays. Primarily, it was impacted by the flooding events that occurred at Hyperion. These flooding events diverted some of the budget to be repairing digesters corrosion and the galleries in which the digesters operate. So we requested the contractor provide a quote for repairing the rest of the digester and completing the rest of the scope of work, which currently we are at about 80% completion for the project. This includes additional piping and support to provide safe access to the digester. The digesters are egg-shaped, so they are not a normal scaffolding that's required. There's corrosion abatement and repair that's needed. And then additionally, the original scope of work required the plant staff to conduct the programming and instrumentation installation. However, that was deemed that it was a little too complicated for the plant staff to be able to do on their own. So due to the complexity, the DCS system was going to be completed by the Honeywell programmers, and that would allow seamless integration with the plant's in-plant DCS. So we, in summary, we're requesting an additional budget of $3.245 million, and that completes my briefing for this project. I'd love to open the floor up to any questions that you might have.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Knight, any public comment on this item?
There is a hand, President Corson, there is a hand raised on Zoom. If you like, I can ask if the user Nisa would like to offer commentary on item number 2. Nisa, is your hand raised because you wish to offer commentary on this item? I see that you've unmuted. Can you attempt to provide audio input? So we're not receiving audio from you here in the boardroom. If you wish to offer commentary, would you go ahead and attempt to provide audio? Okay. If you're experiencing technical issues, I would urge you to leave the meeting and rejoin using the link on the agenda. And we're not receiving audio input. And there are no other hands raised, President Corson.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Knight. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Commissioner Kang and then Vice President Chavez.
So thank you for that presentation. A quick question. Originally, the budgeted amount was 1.76, but we're asking for 3.245. Are you anticipating any other cost overruns that might you return to the board for approval?
At this point, no, we are not. We are about 75 to 80% complete with construction. So we requested a quote from the contractor to verify that the remaining scope of work could be completed. So these are hard dollars that we're getting from the contractor.
And then my follow-up question is, I see that there's some corrosion abatement happening here. Is the extent, how extensive is the sort of the damage that wasn't originally anticipated?
It's pretty extensive. There are leaks at the digesters that are being repaired as well. The full extent right now, there's inspections going on currently. I think we'll find out in a couple of weeks exactly how bad this specific digester is, and then there are future projects that are going to inspect the rest of the digesters to understand, is this a isolated issue or is this something that's widespread throughout the rest of the digesters, given that these were installed, I think, in the 1980s, I think. So those undertakings are underway.
Great. Vice President Chavez.
Oh, thank you. I had a similar question about the budget, but I see that this is a piloting project. So I'm just curious, have this type of system, has it been utilized successfully in other locations that you know of, other plants in other municipalities? And, you know, how confident are you that it'll be successful?
Yeah, that's a great question. I can half answer it. I do know that this system has been utilized in other European nations, and that's what we're trying to copy. I actually There is Deer Island, I believe, in New York or on the East Coast. They've utilized this system as well. So we're piloting it just to make sure that we can understand how it's working. It works with the specific composition of the wastewater that we have in Los Angeles. So we've seen its successful implementation in other wastewater treatment plants, and we're trying to bring that over to Hyperion. The specifics of where those locations are, I don't have with me at this time, but I can follow up if needed with specific locations.
Yeah, that would be great. And then also too, just confirming that the maximum authorization includes sort of that first phase of the piloting, and also to, like, if that's successful, does that also include the funding? Is it included in the authorization and the maximum, like the subsequent purchases of the equipment? Or will there be a forthcoming contract for additional equipment?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, so this is going to be specifically for this project in the piloting. There will be forthcoming projects if we do find that the pilot test is successful, or if there needs to be modifications to the system from what we're testing. Once that's understood and the science behind it is understood, then a future project will be implemented. But I think the first step, even before that, would be making sure that digesters are safe enough and their structural integrity is safe enough for us to actually install new systems in the first place. The inspection would be the next phase.
Okay. And how long is the piloting period?
The pilot period, I believe, was originally going to be just a few months. I believe it was like 6 months. So we're looking to end this pilot test by March or April of this year. As we do for future pilot tests, it's just more dependent on how quickly we can get digesters offline, because every time we take a digester offline, that impacts the treatment process of the plant.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Great. Thank you. Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, there is a first from Vice President Chavez and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item 2, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes, and item number 2 is adopted and will move forward forthwith. If I could just ask the representative, Mr. Hafiz, if you send out that list of successful implementation locations, please send it to me, and I'll go ahead and distribute it to all commissioners. Thank you.
I will do. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item number 3, also in Council District 11, construction services contract, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, secondary clarifiers, waste activated sludge flow meters improvement, capital improvement project 8180 at the HWRP, Hyperion Insurance Reimbursement, secondary clarifiers, return activated sludge flow meters improvement, capital improvement project 8182.
I'd like to also put on the record that I'm not Ethan Wong again, and I apologize for the title of this project. We're trying to hit a record. My name is Ibrahim Hafiz. Again, I am a project manager with the Bureau of Engineering's Environmental Engineering Division for CIP 8180 and 8182. These are flow meters at the Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. We're requesting authorization for the replacement of waste-activated sludge and scum flow meters for a not to exceed amount of $804,000 for CIP 8180. And we were also requesting authorization for the replacement of return activated sludge flow meters for not to exceed amount of $1,962,000. So a little bit of background about just the wastewater treatment process. The purpose of clarifiers, secondary clarifiers, in fact, at Hyperion is to separate solids during the wastewater treatment process. In that secondary treatment process, we have waste activated sludge and return activated sludge. This is part of the biological treatment of the wastewater treatment process. The waste activated sludge is actually sent over to the digesters that I just spoke about, and the return activated sludge is sent back into the biological treatment to keep the microbes alive and to keep the wastewater treatment process moving forward. Currently, the flow meters, which were installed 20 years ago, are obsolete and unreliable. And the return activated sludge flow meters were heavily damaged during the 2021 flooding event at Hyperion. This caused monitoring challenges, which makes it difficult for the plant to send the quality of the water to regulatory boards. Replacement is necessary for operational efficiency and for flood recovery. So the scope of work for CIP 8180 is to install 9 12-inch waste activated sludge flow meters and 9 4-inch scum flow meters with distributed control system integration. And CIP 8182 will install 36 new 18-inch return activated sludge flow meters with DCS integration as well. Both of these projects will install associated piping modifications, conduit replacements, and electrical wiring as needed. So this project is going to be utilizing the Cisco contract. The purpose and the reasoning for that is that, one, there's a lot of operational complexity related to this project. Each of the flow meters will need to require specific secondary clarifiers to be put offline. That is going to be at a stepwise function, and the plant can't guarantee the timeline and scheduling for that based on just operational needs of the plant. And so Cisco provides us with that flexibility to be able to move with the plant operations and not necessarily impact plant operations. And so, and also due to the urgency of the repairs, Cisco offers that flexibility and rapid execution compared to a traditional bid and award, which could potentially lead to significant delays if we can't adhere to a schedule that we originally outlined in the bid documents. So that concludes my presentation for this board report, and I'd love to open the floor up to any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you, commissioners. Any questions or comments on this item? Is there a motion on the table?
I'll move.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a first from Commissioner Kang and a second from Vice President Chavez.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 3, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 3 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 4 in Council District 5, a revised sole source task order solicitation number 98-009 for Converse Consultants. And we have here Mr. Michael Mulhern.
Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, and Bureau heads. I'm Mike Mulhern with the Geotechnical Engineering Division, Bureau of Engineering. This is one of our underground tank / soil and groundwater remediation projects. We're under the behest of the Regional Water Quality Control Board to clean up the groundwater, or at least monitor it on several of these sites, and this is the first one I think this new board has seen. I'm hoping you'll see another 3 or 4, but the mayor has cut our budget, so we don't know what's going to happen. Today's is fully funded. Basically, I'm using previous contingency monies, but we're asking for an increase of $130,000 to continue another year of semi-annual groundwater monitoring, to do the proper remediation that they've asked us to do. That's including we've added more wells, we've added pneumatic skimmers to draw off the diesel remnants that have leaked. We also have more enhanced remediation and injection program where we're injecting sort of a 2-phase attack on the diesel that's still clinging to the soil. The first is a desorbent compound, which basically is a soap-like compound that coaxes the hydrocarbons out of the soil. The second is an oxidizer, a strong oxidizer that destroys the hydrocarbons. And both of these, by the way, are approved solutions to inject into the groundwater. Then we pump out the remnants, store them, and periodically dispose of them properly under manifest, and hopefully clean up the site to state standards within a year or two. The only issue, other than we may not have funding in the future, and I'm hoping some of you folks will be able to twist the Mayor Budget's office arm, we're a little low on the minority business enterprise on this particular task order solicitation because our MBE contractor is a driller, And we don't have any drilling for this year, but we will later on in the contract when we do our confirmation sampling under the regional board's direction. That's basically my presentation. I'll be glad to answer questions.
Great. Thank you, commissioners. Any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion on the table?
So move. Second.
Thank you. Mr. Knight, there is a first from President Pro Tem Grant and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll take a roll call vote on approval of item number 4, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kane.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 4 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great. Moving on to item number 5. Read my notes. Council District 7, request for authority, temporary street closure, Arleta Avenue, City Trunk Line North Unit 1 project, work area 12 and work area 16.
Good morning, commissioners. Excuse me. My name is Noshin Kamal. I'm the Assistant District Engineer with the Bureau of Engineering, working out of the Central District Office, where we issue utility permits to utility companies. Therefore, I am joined by my friends and partners at DWP. I will allow them to introduce themselves.
Good morning, commissioners. My name is Joseph Cuevas. I am the Waterworks engineer over one of the 3 project management offices in the Water Engineering and Technical Services Division.
Hi, good morning, commissioners. My name is Steve Liu. I am one of the construction engineers overseeing one of the construction crews for this project.
So a little background on this project. This is a DWP project, and it is vital for continued reliable water quality supply to stakeholders and constituents within the city of Los Angeles. As part of its water infrastructure improvement project, LADWP will replace over 6 miles of an aged 72-inch diameter riveted steel pipeline that was installed in 1914 with a new 54-inch diameter earthquake resilient ductile iron and welded steel pipeline. The anticipated project completion will be December 2030. The existing pipeline was installed in 1914, has experienced several leaks in the last 16 years. This project is referred to as the City Trunk Line North Unit 1 and will provide additional capacity, greater system flexibility, and enhanced reliability to customers in the San Fernando Valley. By implementing this project, the community is provided a safe and reliable water supply for many years to come. The request on this board report is to temporarily close city streets at 2 locations. Along Arleta Avenue from Brand Boulevard to Chatsworth Drive, designated as Work Area 12. That work is starting February 1st, 2025 and ending August 2025. The second location on Arleta Avenue is from Chamberlain Street to Chatsworth Street, designated as Work Area 16, starting May 2025 and ending in December 2025. All major submittals have been approved. Council District has provided their full support for the project, and LADOT has provided the traffic control plan pending board approval for the full street closures. In addition, DWP has done extensive outreach and notification to impacted constituents. This project has been communicated very clearly with all community stakeholders and jurisdictional agencies. Some sections of this project do require full street closure and some do not. Therefore, we will return to Board of Public Works for future closure requests. This is the second board report we've done for this second phase of the closure on Arleta. Bureau of Engineering supports the efforts DWP is taking to make this line ready for future seismic events and help guarantee the City of LA constituents safe and reliable water supply. As I mentioned, I'm joined with my partners, Joseph and Steve, to answer any outreach or construction questions you may have. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner Kane.
So thank you for coming in today. I know it hasn't been too long, but commissioners, I did in the outreach efforts, I did ask if a DWP can kind of incorporate ethnic media I know they have their usual, for example, this particular community is mostly a lot of immigrant community members, and they did post on Nextdoor, but Nextdoor is not very much used by immigrant communities like this. So instead of just following the usual protocols, I did ask for sort of a more tailored approach for outreach, and I look forward to receiving some of those feedback from DWP. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. So I did reach out to our community affairs group, and we looked at it, but we didn't find enough need to justify additional advertising in that manner. We tend to have a strong presence in the community, and we do work closely with the residents and with the council districts in the area. And up to this point, we haven't had any issues. We've resolved any concerns or any questions that the community has had. But we do take your comment very seriously, and so we do plan on putting up construction banners at each work area for any, because we did mention, for people driving by, people that are affected by traffic. So we do plan on putting up construction banners with our contact information and with a URL for our project site, or website, so that customers or residents or anybody who's affected by the construction project could reach out and ask any questions, and hopefully we would be able to resolve. And we also do have our websites translated in multiple languages as well. So there's a drop down and people could click on it and hopefully have it translated in their language. And we'll find a way to reach the needs of any customers that you reach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Commissioner King. Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Is there a motion on the table?
So moved.
Is
I'll
there-
second.
Great, thank you. Mr. Knight, there is a first from Commissioner Mitchell and a second from Commissioner King.
Very well, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item number 5, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 5 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6 in Council District 6, revised task order solicitation number 54 for Geocentech Consultants, and we have from the Bureau of Engineering, Mr. Marcelino Asensio.
Good morning, President Corzan, commissioners, executives, and most welcome guests. My name is Marcelino Asensio. I'm a senior civil engineer with the Bureau of Engineering Architecture Division. I'm also joined by my colleague and project manager, Mr. Shunyu Zhang. This board report is recommending the board authorize the city engineer to issue a revision to the task order solicitation number 54 to Geocentech Consultants, increasing the budget authority from roughly $2.34 million to $3.74 million, so an increase of $1.4 million total, which includes contingency for providing comprehensive master planning and design consulting services for the Sepulveda Basin Vision Plan. So to provide a little background and context, the board in November of 2022 approved the original task order, which authorized the consultant to initiate a comprehensive master planning and design consulting services for a Sepulveda Basin Master Plan. This strategic framework sort of set the table, and it aimed in enhancing resilience, ecosystem functionality, and natural habitat rehabilitation while improving flood storage capacity, water quality, park access, and recreational opportunities within the Sepulveda Basin. After nearly a 2-year community-based process where we had several different community meetings, over 5,000 digital engagements with community members and residents in the area, we've came to a final vision plan which identified 47 different projects that could be executed over the next 25 to 30 years in different phases. So what this board report does is increase the budget authority to $1.4 million to begin the environmental technical studies required for LA River widening within the Sepulveda Basin. The river widening was identified as a central piece of the vision plan and a legacy project within the vision plan. The duration of the study is 6 months and is anticipated to conclude in July of 2025 with an additional community meeting. So a report back to the community on our progress. The study is funded through a $2.5 million reimbursable grant that was provided by Senator Stern's office to the Mountains Recreation and Conservation Authority, also known as the MRCA. The MRCA retained a portion of that grant, and then with an agreement with BOE, provided $1.75 million to BOE for the vision plan and its technical studies. And then that concludes my presentation. If there are any questions.
Great, thank you. Thank you for that. Commissioners, any questions or comments? I will just add that BOE and Geosentech, as someone who lives close to the basin and uses it, has done a lot of great work around community engagement and productive stakeholder feedback. So looking forward to the next chapter in that engagement plan. So I will just go ahead and make the motion to approve this one. There's a second.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 6, starting with you, President Corson.
Aye.
Vice President Chavez.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner Kang.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item 6 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. And our final item, because we wanted to give our Hyperion engineer a little time to sit down, regather himself. Also in Council District 11, construction services contract, Cisco Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, cryogenic facility, liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen tanks refurbishment, capital improvement project 8187.
I appreciate the time down. You're a very generous board. My name is Ibrahim Hafiz, again with the Bureau of Engineering and Environmental Engineering's Division. I will be presenting on the Capital Improvement Project 8187, Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant, Cryogenic Facility, liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen tanks refurbishment. We're requesting authorization to utilize the Cisco contract and various sole source requests. Specifically, we're looking to authorize the use of Cisco for the refurbishment of liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen cryogenic tanks in the cryogenic facility for an amount not to exceed $2,898,000. Additionally, we are looking to authorize the sole source agreement with CB&I for refurbishment and inspection of the liquid oxygen tanks, valued at $200,000, and Rosemount and Honeywell for process instrumentation and programming, valued at $200,000 as well. Some summary and background. The cryogenic facility supplies 98% pure oxygen for the wastewater treatment process at Hyperion Water Reclamation Plant. This oxygen will eventually be used for the biological treatment to keep the microbes alive at Hyperion. The facility includes the liquid oxygen and liquid nitrogen tanks that are critical to the treatment process. These tanks have been in service since 1994 and are showing significant signs of corrosion due to prolonged exposure to the harsh marine environments that Hyperion is located within. This necessitates urgent repair to prevent future failure. The scope of work will be to inspect, isolate, and repair the liquid oxygen tanks and the liquid nitrogen tanks, to abate corrosion and repair the structural steel and concrete, and install sole source process equipment to maintain compatibility with existing systems. In lockstep with this scope, we'll be ensuring operational continuity during the refurbishment period to make sure that there's no impacts to the treatment process while the project is ongoing. So I wanted to talk really quickly about justifications for using Cisco and why we want a sole source for this project. Cisco allows for flexibility in the schedule to allow for stepwise decommissioning and refurbishment, ensuring that the oxygen supply to the aerobic treatment process is not hindered and it remains in operation throughout the project. In addition, CB&I is being selected to be sole source because they are the original manufacturer for the tank, and they're uniquely equipped with specialized parts and training to be able to conduct the repairs. Rosemount and Honeywell and instruments are used throughout the plant, and so their installation will ensure compatibility with existing configurations and will avoid costly modifications if we use a separate vendor. To conclude, we are requesting authorization for the sole sourcing of CB&I and the Rosemount and Honeywell process equipment, and we're requesting authorization for not to exceed amount of $2,898,000 for an award to the Cisco 13 contract. That concludes my presentation, and I will open the floor up to any questions that you might have.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this item? Seeing none, is there a motion on this item?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Knight. There is a first from President Pro Tem Grant and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Very well. We will go ahead and take a roll call vote on approval of item 7, starting with you, President Corson,
All right.
Vice President Chavez,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Mr. Kang,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes. Item number 7 is adopted and will move forward forthwith.
Great. Thank you. And Mr. Knight, have we cleared the desk for today?
Yes, we have.
Great. It is 10:53 and our meeting for Monday, January 27th is adjourned.
And we will hold a management meeting after this. Is that accurate?
Yes, at 11 o'clock.
Thank you.